Hello everybody, welcome to the Sit Down. My name is Lennix Gibson. This is my lovely wife, Brittany. And today we have some friends with us. Our special guest today on the show is Kurt and Jennifer Stickelman. I tell you, today's episode is entitled Faith Does Whatever It Takes. And in talking with Jen and Kurt, I tell you their testimony just exemplifies what faith does and how faith doesn't quit. And if you're a business owner, even if you're not a business owner, you're watching this, I tell you, the impartation that you're gonna get from this couple is priceless. So you're gonna be glad you watched the show today. So, Jen, can you kind of talk to us a little bit about how faith played a role in you starting your salon?
I've been a hairstylist now for over 15 years, but I had been at the same place here in Murrieta for about 12 years.
How long was that process that you were looking for a building?
So I started looking the end of January, and I believe I found it in probably early March, late February.
So a couple months went by and then you end up finding this building. The thing is, I remember talking to you about it. You said that you kind of knew about this building because right now we're sitting in Jen's beautiful salon, but you kind of knew about this building already, but you overlooked it because it was so close to the house.
It's a little closer than I would have liked to the former salon where I was at. And I was trying to put a little bit of space.
Okay.
So
you want to be right about it.
Yeah. One day I was driving by and I saw the sign and I thought, I'm just gonna go ahead and call. So we went ahead and set up a meeting with her. So when we got here, this was an empty, nothing had ever been in it. This was concrete, there was no drywall. No other business had ever been in here before. So we're kind of meeting and, you know, the lady's going over the price for rent and all of that stuff. And I'm like, you know, in my head doing the math, okay, I can do that. And then the contractor gives me the price on the build out and I'm like, oh, a little bit more than I thought, you know, a little more than I saved, that's for sure. Immediately I switched gears into, okay, I need now I know I need to find somewhere that's already built out.
When you heard the price from your contractor, because when you heard the rent price, you're all good to go. Yeah. You know what, that I can do that. Then the contractor put in his 2 cents, and we love to hear always his 2 cents because he's gonna give us some numbers. Yeah. And so when you heard those numbers, did you, because I know sometimes we can get in the mental arena about some things. Sure. Did you sense anything with your spirit, or were you were saying, you know what, just from the numbers, okay, you know, I'm not going that route, that's too high?
I just think I was more like taken back, or I felt embarrassed, like I wasted this lady's time. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I didn't even think about this is empty, so it's gonna cost money. So immediately I switched gears into, okay, I need now I know I need to find somewhere that's already built out, that just needs renovation, not complete, you know, everything.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
I checked it off my list.
You checked it off.
I checked it off my list. Yeah.
Okay. So what were you thinking when you heard those numbers? Same thing.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, on tilt. Like, no, that ain't happening.
Right.
You know, we need to look somewhere different. I know I was definitely thinking that.
And so you guys got back out there in the field and started looking. I mean, we're sitting in this building, so it's kind of like we know it worked out. So how did it end up working out?
I'm on my way home and my phone rings and it's the lady who showed me the building, and she said, you know, I spoke with the owner of the building and let him know, you know, everything we went over, and he immediately upped the TI allowance, just boom, right there. What he did, it was just amazing. He basically worked into the loan, or worked into the agreement, part of the money that I would need to finish this into my lease. So I just basically got like a free loan through the duration of my lease.
Okay.
She had seen a place off the freeway that sells salon equipment. And there's a gentleman that at this facility who, you know, started talking to us, and he actually builds out salons. So he had a lot of good information for us.
Now, you originally went to him for just the equipment.
Correct.
Not to talk about what you're now talking about with him.
We just were going to go look at his showroom for the equipment that he had. We didn't realize that he was actually a kind of a contractor to do a salon build out. He had a lot of good information for us. He actually assisted us with our negotiation.
How so?
Because he knows how to negotiate for properties. He was actually went in as an advocate for us to the building owner. And
There were just some things that we would never have thought of to ask for or,
To bring up.
Yeah, so he was very helpful for that.
And then when it came time for, coming up with the other money that we didn't have for the build out and the equipment, he, basically said, where are you going to come up with the money? So we looked into getting a small business loan, and we were just running into some problems, being able to come up with a small business loan, because most places wanted a good established business to get those.
And you guys were brand new.
Correct.
Right.
So he actually came up with the idea, well, why don't you open up a bunch of credit cards with a long extended APR on it, introductory 0% APR
Okay.
on those cards.
What?
Well, that goes way against conventional wisdom.
Right.
Who does that, right?
What did you think when you heard that option, Jen?
I just never thought about it. And of course, like he said, you don't do that. You just don't
Right.
do that, But at the same time, I thought, well, if we just really stick to it, a real disciplined plan where we're not buying things, for the next year, because you basically have a year before that, that kicks in, and then you're going to be paying a lot more for what you bought. The credit cards wound up
Buying all the equipment.
buying the equipment.
You don't even realize all the things, the computer for the front desk, the credit card machine, the chairs, the lights, the light bulbs, everything. It was just one day at a time, just taking on each challenge every day. And, God met us at every step. And it was actually fun because as we went through that year of paying off the credit card, God always brought a supply to be able to pay off those that monthly payment and pay extra to be able to get it paid off. And like she said, we paid it off prior to the 1 year mark. We paid
So you guys
zero
didn't-
interest.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Zero
You didn't pay
interest.
Zero interest on.
Yeah.
There's a minister that I know about, and one of the things he's always said is that, go with your measure of faith. If you need $500 and you don't have faith for $500, do you have faith for $100? Okay, I got $100 faith. So you believe for $100 5 times. And so you guys didn't have the money to start the business that God put in your heart, Ms. Jen, but you had this option on the table, and that's where faith, to me, you guys were saying yes, but faith did whatever it took. You said, you know what, I'll go with this option, and I have the faith. Not only did y'all have the faith to meet the payment, but you also had the faith to actually pay more, and ended up so really you didn't have to pay anything to borrow this money. Would you take back that time? Would you rather have avoided that period, or was it frustrating, or?
Well, of course I would have rather avoided it, but I'm so thankful for it.
Do you remember when we had that experience in our company when before we had sweepers? We have trucks now, but remember I had to sweep by hand, and I was working 7 days a week, and I'm talking about we're sweeping these humongous, parking lots, and with a broom. Now you don't sweep parking lots with a broom; you sweep your kitchen. Well, I'm saying because my thing is when she was talking about that, I was like, man, I remember being uncomfortable. And being to the place to where it was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I signed up for. I signed up to be blessed. You know what I'm saying?
But just as it helped Miss Jen, prepare for being a business owner, that also helped prepare you for when you got your employees as well.
Yeah, when she said that she wouldn't take it back, I thought about, I would not take back, because so many times now, if I hadn't gone through that season, we have employees that call out, and guess who gets to feel it? I do. But I was able to train the employees on exactly what to look for. I knew what area of the parking lot would get the dirtiest, and I knew what the clients was looking for. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have been able to train. I just, touche for you for going through that and not giving up in that interim.
So many times, you know, you almost can become ungrateful.
Yes.
You know, it's
Easy.
like,
Yeah, to
it's like
become-
you
yeah.
feel like, I mean, I'm not joking. At times I was like, I feel like Joseph, I've been sent to the dungeon, man, you know, and I would have to catch myself and be like, no. I thank you, Father, for this place that you've given me.
That's right.
Thank you so much. And I mean, sometimes it was more to talk to myself because
Right.
I was like,
Right.
I want
Right.
out of this uncomfortable place. But hey, I don't have another option right now, and I need to be thankful. You know, but of course now I can see the huge blessing that was from being there.
The thing is that I was thinking about how, like, when the children of Israel, where they were going through, and they were only supposed to be there, what is it, like it's supposed to be like a 4-day journey, but ended up taking them 40 years because they started complaining. And just like you, I had that same opportunity. There was times where it was raining, and that's the perfect opportunity to complain. When it's raining, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, you're cleaning diapers, and I said, Father, if I'm on like heavenly community service.
It takes faith to do that. It takes faith to be in a place where your flesh is uncomfortable, in a place you feel like you don't deserve to be in, because I stepped out, Lord. I started the business like you told me to do.
Right.
And then here I am in this place that
Community service.
the place that I feel like I shouldn't be because I was obedient. But it takes faith to do what you did, to say, you know, Lord, I thank you for this place, to look back and say, this place helped me to be a better business owner.
Maybe the two biggest things that I saw and learned in this whole process was, number one, he's waiting on us to just give him an avenue to bless us. Wow. You know, he has so much for us. And then number two, I would say, is just really embracing those tough times, because there's really something to be learned in them. Learning to love those times and not despise them and try to get out of them so soon, because they're really growing places. They are the times that you look back and you go, I got something there. You know, it's not the good times you look back and go, oh man, that was so good. Those aren't the ones you remember. You remember those tough times because you grew. You know, if you really allow yourself, you will grow in those tough times. It's not the easy times, it's the tough times. So.
And also, don't sell yourself short. You know, I think had it been, you know, up to us and, you know, our own boundaries that we put on ourselves, you know, we may have gone for something lesser than. But this was what her heart's desire was, and I know that God wants us to have what our heart's desire is. Don't settle, you know, because God can, you know, God will make a way.
There's such an impartation for you guys. I mean, in the lower thirds of the screen, we always put what we do, the sit-down takeaways. Again, this episode was entitled Faith Does Whatever It Takes. You saw an example. So many times we see bad examples out there, but you saw a good example of, if you don't quit and you allow the faith that's already resident in you to work, how God has an avenue. I like how Ms. Jen said it, God will have an avenue to bless you. So until next time, thank you so much for joining. Be blessed. I hope you enjoyed it. I know you did, and we will see you next time. I absolutely enjoyed having Kurt and Jen. I think the biggest thing that I took away from it was how she talked about, which I had never heard worded like that, when she said, give God an avenue to pretty much open up so he can bless you through. And so too many times we don't operate in our faith that we have to give God that avenue so he can kind of take us down the road and to fulfill the plan of God for us.
Step out when God says yes. When when you're sensing in your heart God's telling you to do something, but your head's telling you no, go ahead and do it, because during that period, God's going to supply everything. He brings the people, he brings the money, he opens all of the doors and things begin to flow smoothly, and you learn things and you see things that you've never seen before. Yeah, they definitely were a really good example for you guys and for us. I mean, I learned so much on the show from them that about how faith doesn't quit, and just what a wonderful testimony they have. And we just so enjoy being on the show with them, and we look forward to talking to you guys further about things about how faith does whatever it takes.
Thanks for watching today's show. We invite you to connect with us on our social media pages at The Sit Down with Lennix Gibson.